Are media companies making a deal with the devil? The Atlantic and Vox announced yesterday that their companies have entered into a business partnership with OpenAI, the creator of ChatGPT. What does this mean? Well, if users of ChatGPT type questions into the search bar, they might receive an answer that quotes a story from The Atlantic. In return, AI will have access to the outlet's archives that can be used for ChatGPT. Axel Springer, the publisher of Business Insider and also Politico, have made similar deals with artificial intelligence. The Atlantic said in a statement that its product team will develop its own AI tools using OpenAI technology.
This all might feel a little bit ironic, considering the fact that journalism rests on foundations of original, factual, and in-depth reporting. And OpenAI distributes information from an aggregate of sources in seconds. Technology and journalism have been at odds for the past 2 decades, but could we be reaching a moment where journalism has to face a question it has long tried to avoid? Is technology their future? And now, AI growing at rapid rates, how will media change and adapt in this environment? The Atlantic has repeatedly published articles criticizing AI and ChatGPT over the past few years. Some users on X are unhappy with the Atlantic's new deal, writing, "Ugh, lame, not paying for this sub anymore." Quote, "Hey Atlantic, do you not understand that no one wants this AI garbage? Why do you make deals with them when no one wants to read fake things?" Quote, "OpenAI isn't here to help you, they're here to eat you." So this is an interesting environment with using AI to replace so much work. Can it be used to replace news? It would require the active web scraping of every news website because news is always breaking. And all of these AI, ChatGPT, whatever sort of AI you're using, it needs to take in information in order to have relevant output. It would need to be actively web scraping news sources across the United States.
That's what it's going to do.
But there has to be these agreements between like The Atlantic and ChatGPT that are mutually beneficial because we've seen 19 copyright lawsuits against generative AI defendants that are currently pending in federal district courts. And we're seeing that most judges are either granting in full or in part these lawsuits. So there are cases where, you're a news organization, you're saying, I don't want generative AI to have my news as an input. Then AI can't replace our jobs, Robby.
I am fine with AI replacing our jobs. I'm a class trader. I'm on the side of the machines. I welcome our new robot overlords. No, I think it is, if technology can replace us, that's fine with me and is necessary and proper and
just
good.
Just robots out doing original reporting.
Yeah, I don't know, our robots can do commentary. We're doing commentary. I mean, look, AI, I think this is a very promising technology. Obviously, there are kinks to work out. And an issue I see them having, if their only inputs are what The Atlantic and Vox, there's going to be, what conservatives are going to complain about is that there's going to be a liberal tilt or spin to the information being produced if its inputs are all mainstream media or progressive media sources. So that's going to be something. Obviously we had the whole hilarious disaster with the image one from a couple weeks ago that was Google that rolled out, where it had accidentally turned its diversity filter to to attack you and with images that made no historical, if you asked for the Pope, they would give you a black woman, even though that's not possible for the Pope to be a black woman, and all that kind of stuff that was really funny. So there's a lot to be worked out still, but it's going to get worked out. It's fine. And media people are going to complain, just like the newspaper industry complained when radio came out, and the radio industry complained when the TV came out, and so on and so forth. There's long history of whatever the traditional media is, hating and fearing for business competition reasons. It's why I think the coverage of social media, the social media industry, has been of a kind of the sky is falling from the mainstream media because it's their competition.
I think, yes, the mainstream media feels like the sky is falling because I think they're grappling with the reality that people want to get their news from people that they trust. People no longer trust corporations. And these huge media companies are corporations.
Right.
And the main question here is, okay, people want to follow people they trust and get their news from them.
Sure.
Why do they trust them? Because they vet information, make sure it's good information. That doesn't always mean accurate. There are different versions of reality based on people's perspectives. That's fine. There are alternative facts coming from people being present at the same protest.
Sure.
Still, there needs to be some differentiation between good information and bad information, and it seems like AI, so far, cannot differentiate. You have cases where the new Google AI feature is telling people that they should cook their chicken at 102 degrees Fahrenheit. They're telling people that they can have a gooier pizza cheese by adding Elmer's glue. Like, these are real solutions AI is giving
I don't know. Did
people.
you prompt it to say, should I put glue in my, like some of those?
No.
I don't know. Some of those
It's
panics.
been very, you think it's all edited and they're trying to make AI look bad?
Yes, I think they're trying to make AI. No, some of those were like, early on, I was like, oh, you can make the AI design a plan to attack a school or something. And then you looked at what the input was. It was like, how specifically will I do that? And you had to get around all these guardrails that had installed to not do that. Like, that's just no different than using an encyclopedia, than just Googling it.
But an encyclopedia is not scraping Reddit for potential responses.
Online
to a
encyclopedia
question.
is doing exactly that.
But that's the thing. There are very human factors involved in writing an encyclopedia. Like, people are able to differentiate good information from bad. But computers...
Better than computers?
I believe so, at this point in time.
Well, maybe at this point in time, but maybe in the future.
But maybe in the future they can be trained. But then what will they be trained on? Will they be trained to look for reputable sources, as researchers are today?
Well, but we disagree on what are reputable sources. I mean, you can't always just appeal to expertise, right? Because sometimes the experts end up wrong, or the experts disagree. I mean, obviously, we learned this during COVID with a variety of an expert consensus at one point saying this about various requirements, and then that changing over time. And now there's been a huge lack of trust among many people on the right, for instance, in expertise, medical expertise, because it was very thunderous, it has to be this way, and then a lot of that, including where COVID originates from and other things, came under serious scrutiny, despite what the experts said. And it turned out, actually the experts might have had a concerted effort in insisting that, no, of course, the very dangerous research we were doing under substandard safety conditions in a lab in China, no, that could never have caused the pandemic. That's the expert consensus. Like, well, are you saying that because you want more research in the future and it makes you look bad that you maybe caused this? Those kinds of things.
Well, how do we train an AI to be able to make those decisions? Like, you could have artificial intelligence that relies on something called an artificial neural network, and it's making decisions without being fed an algorithm in order to make decisions. And through a reward system of saying, this is a correct output, this is a wrong output, you can train it to produce something that's similar to what you like. But we're finding that AI is unable to be trained for some basic outputs at this point. So will it ever reach this stage where it can be trained to only output good information? I'm just not confident in that being possible. Maybe we've already
been replaced with robots,
and
our programming tells us we're not allowed to know that. So that's
beautiful,
what
Robby.
we program to not know that we're robots.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I think's happening. More Rising right after this.